The Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast is dedicated to all things Horus Heresy. This podcast delves into the grimdark universe where Primarchs clash, legions rise, and loyalties fracture faster than a Land Raider's track. But it's not just about the lore of the Horus Heresy. The Accountabilibuddies also explore the gaming side of things, from painting and modeling tips to product reviews and ideas to help you in your hobby. So, whether you're a seasoned Forge World veteran or a fresh-faced scout, this podcast is your Vox channel to the galaxy. Expect discussions on lore, modeling, gaming, and maybe even the shenanigans that your hosts somehow seem to find their way into. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there are only two things you can count on: heresy and your trusty Accountabilibuddies.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 118th episode of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. I'm John, and I'm on location in Nashville, and tonight I'm joined by
Duncan.
Brian.
Jack.
Jamie.
and welcome to the shit show. So, before we move into news and hobby progress, let's pause for talking about our patrons and our lovely sponsors.
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor Elric Hobbies for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HERESYABB at checkout.
And we'd like to thank everybody that's our current patron. We do have some Adepticon special patron things going on right now, and so if anyone's in the patron chat and has been on the patron special, listen to the patron special episodes, you'll know a little bit about that. But we just feel like we don't do enough for our patrons, and we're going to start doing that a lot more coming into 2025 as we get past Adepticon. It's one of the ways we want to start giving back more. So before we go into the crazy amount of news that I've got pulled up here, I guess we should talk hobby talk. This week was pretty busy for me. I got the second shipment of old Forge World buildings in and cleaned them up. Ended up going through only a couple Dremel batteries this time. Last time I ended up needing 4 full Dremel charges to go through cleaning up all the different buildings and things that I was going through. And so I started gluing that down to the big piece of 2 foot by 2 foot masonite, and kind of maneuvering the Serpentor statue around, looking at where I could put stuff. I found a bunch of stuff that I'd rolled out to make Cobra movement trays that I never ended up making movement trays for, the mass amounts of infantry. So I started gluing that down in between the buildings so it'll look like it matches with the Cobra bases that I'd done for all the guys. And then I pulled out the other 2 foot by 2 foot square that's supposed to have a warning fountain on it, and found out that the backup fountain actually works. So I don't have to worry about freaking out there. So I can just plug that into the battery supply that I'm going to bring to Adepticon, and it'll start running all day. So I started gluing all the stuff down for that one. I got the Roman columns set up, and then I kind of realized didn't have a ton of playroom on top of the thing where the fountain's going to be. So I changed some of my drawings and designs up, and managed to cut out all the steps I'm going to need before I had to leave for work, this work trip in Nashville. So when I get home tomorrow night, I'm going to be able to start laying out steps to make sure that everything lines up correctly and comes up to the top, and then start gluing more stuff down, and then start moving statues onto it. Hopefully tomorrow is also going to be when my Monument Hobbies concrete paste comes in, so I can start texturing all the other pieces of terrain that I've got going on and start painting everything up. The guys local in DFW are going to come by on March the 8th. Is this coming Saturday, and everybody's going to come by, and we're going to help paint for myself and paint for Pyrrhix. some of the terrain that's going on. So I hope to have everything at least kind of base coated so they can help out with some of the spot colors and maybe some washes and stuff like that we've done before. I've also got all that self-rusting and self-aging paint, bronze and copper that I'm going to put on the memorial garden and stuff like that. So that can all be set up together. But that's really all I've gotten up to this week. Oh, I also primed all of the walkways and built the walkways for the all that go between the buildings and the city fight table. But that's really all I got up to this week. What about you, Brian?
Oh, it's been a pretty chill week. Made a little bit more progress on my Sakarans. I have not picked up a paintbrush to work on the demons anymore lately. Been fighting with some hand stuff after my hospitalization back in December. They're still kind of weird sometimes. Other than that, that's been about it. How about you, Jamie?
I've done jack and shit related to the hobby. I've had a 3-alarm dumpster fire going on at work the whole week, and then I've had the soccer season started in earnest this week, and I've had 4 practices after work and then a game yesterday. So I've literally gotten nothing done, like at all. So how about Jack?
I painted some stuff that is redacted. That Duncan made me paint. I painted even more stuff that is redacted that just needs to be clear coated. And honestly, I've probably spent the most behind a hairy brush this week that I have in probably 3 or 4 months. Just because of what I'm painting. Outside of that, I have 3D printed stuff because 3D printing stuff, it's cool. I did find a file for, what's that stupid thing called that I sent to that one group, Jamie? The big, cooler looking thing. Capitalist Imperialis?
Yeah, the Imperialis.
Yeah. Saw an STL for that in 28 mil scale, detailed for $138. And no
yeah,
matter...
that was a good laugh.
What's that?
That was a good laugh.
Oh, I'm not knocking anybody. $138 for a 3D print of something that I will probably never print. Whew.
Well, I'm just gonna throw that out there. I saw that too, and the reason I'm laughing is if anybody collects G.I. Joe classified scale, which is 1/6 scale, I believe, figures, or not 1/12. They're 6-inch figures. A guy made a replica of the 1985 USS Flag in the big scale that goes with the new figures, and the STL for that was only $200. And
if he prints it, he wants like $4,000 or something.
Yeah, he wants $4,000 if he prints it out for you. But like the STL, if you bought the STL, was like, and he spent 1,200 hours too, measuring and testing and everything to get it right. And it's literally like a 1-for-1 replica, just in the bigger scale. And it was $200.
I understand wanting to get your time back, your like money for the time back, but I don't know how many people are going to be purchasing it at that price point.
Well, that's the thing. It's a cost versus time benefit. Yes, it may cost you a lot of time to do it, but how many of you are going to sell at $130? Right. Where if you put it at like $25 to $30, willing to bet some people when they're drunk at night might buy one up when they see it, you know?
Or like me with the Stormbird, it was $50 when I bought it, and I was just happy to find a really good copy of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand people wanting money back for their time, but they're not going to get it back when they price it that high. You've got to make it so that people will actually buy it, and you'll make your money back in volume.
If it was $30, I would have it on my computer right now.
Yeah, I probably would too, to be honest with you.
And not have any plans to... What's that?
It's not marketable at that price.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
No. So, but that's what I've done. Painting, 3D printing. I do need to get a hold of Chris Bergeron, and see if he has the ability to print decals in white. Because I need.
I can talk to him. I've talked to him and Blake all the time.
Okay.
There's only one printer in the world that prints in white.
What's that, John?
It's an Alps. There's only one printer that prints in white, and it's an Alps printer.
Yep.
They only run on Windows XP, or if you get a Japanese one, will run on Japanese Windows.
It's like some sort of weird Epson or something like that will print in white.
Well, it's the company's called Alps, ALPS. They were an American company, and they moved everything to Japan.
Okay.
But that's the only commercially available one for users. If you have like a industrial printer, you can obviously print white, but it's a little hard to come by. I know this because I've got an Alps. It's just a giant pain to get set up and everything. And
hey, man.
right now it's at my dad's, so it's not something that I can easily access.
Yeah, I'll talk to them. But yeah, they're busy this week too.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
weekend, their event. So.
But Duncan, what have you done?
Oh, quite a bit. This week I got all the blues done on the Land Raiders. Then I went back and I corrected overspray from where I was using a tape that didn't work out very well for me to get the lines or tape where I taped off for the spray. So I got the overspray fixed. I got the Raiders sealed. I have 2 of them with decals on them. Those are currently curing. I've got decals that I'm getting ready to apply to this next one. I've got decals for 2 more, and then I have half the decals for the last one. I'm hoping to have all but one of the decals finished tonight. And I actually spoke with Bergeron because yesterday, because I've discovered that one of my sheets is missing 2 of the decals I need because I've used them somewhere else somehow. Some I don't even know. So I'm getting. He's going to send me the 2 missing decals I need to put on to the Land Raiders, so I can have the Land Raiders done decal wise, then get them sealed hopefully this week, and then hopefully start applying weathering round 1.
If Chris can't help you, let me know as soon as possible when I get back, and I can go to the Citadel and drop ship quickly some decals.
I will let you know probably by Wednesday if I need you to.
Yep, I still have some World Eaters decals, so let me know.
So, Jack, if you can find your sheet somewhere.
Well, thanks to John, I have this handy dandy A4 box that I keep everything in now. I love you, John.
I need to
get. I wish I could keep all my decals in one box.
I'm turning off the background for a minute. These 2, right here.
Momento por favor, because this is riveting podcasting right here.
Yeah, riveting podcasting. Riveting. Yeah. Absolutely riveting.
It doesn't help the fact that I have 1,000 different decal sheets.
Yeah, I should really do that as well, because I've got at least one more of these sheets floating around here somewhere.
I'm
and I
not
can't
sure
find
which
it.
ones you're... Oh, Jesus. I have some.
Yes. So,
the medium-sized ones?
I need that one.
Okay, the small one?
And the one right beside it.
The medium.
Only have one small one.
I need the small one. How many of the ones that are right below it do you have? Well, these 4.
All of those.
So there'll be 4 in a row of a medium plus?
Sure, yeah, we'll call it medium plus.
Can you show me the sheet real quick? Yeah, can I borrow that sheet? I promise you'll not get most of it back. Or
no, because I still have World Eaters that I need to figure out what to do with.
Oh, well, damn it.
But you can have those.
Yeah, if I can get those 2, that'd be perfect, because that's literally all I'm going to need.
Yeah.
Very much appreciated, sir. Mm-hmm. So other than that, I got our posters ordered. So those will be here in time for Adepticon. I got kind of PO'd at the printer because of their price. But then I called the printer on the phone and bitched at them. And it didn't help much, but it got it to where I was actually willing to pay the price. So got that done. Right now, other than, like I said, working on decals, that's all I'm doing at this moment. I think that I was the last one to go. So is everybody done with what we have done this week?
Yes. John,
Yay!
it's time for your news desk.
Oh boy, we had some news this week. So I'm going to go kind of in release order as I've got everything kind of pulled up on my iPad here. First thing we had was the announcement of the U.S. Throne of Skulls. So this is going to be grand tournaments for every game system, including Legions Imperialis and Horus Heresy. These are going to be taking place on the 28th and 29th of June. So more information is going to kind of be coming up there. Tickets are going to go on sale tomorrow, which is going to be Monday, March the 3rd, at time of recording. Next up, we had Katie's Next, the first Raven Guard character released for Horus Heresy, I believe.
So that wasn't a fever dream? I thought I dreamed that.
There was
No,
there was the one that was the like the Black Shield, wasn't there?
Yeah, but
he doesn't count.
Okay.
I will say this guy looks pretty cool. He definitely looks like a gunslinger, and he's got a cool cape going on. So I approve all over the place.
So I'm just going
I'll
to
be
throw
getting
this
this
out
guy.
there. I love the miniature, okay? And like most people that have looked at it, other than Raven Guard players, absolutely love the miniature. But most Raven Guard players, which there aren't a lot of them, but they're very vocal, from what I've seen, absolutely detest him.
He is so bright. He's covered in silver. That's probably why they hate him.
They say he's too blingy, and I guess he's too silvery or whatever. There's too much metallic or whatever. But like, most of the Raven Guard players I've seen online absolutely hate him. But everybody else,
I can understand it, but at the same time, like you finally got something.
Yeah. No,
It's because they're so emo. Okay.
True. They are.
He's got the face though. Like he doesn't look like crazy killer man. He looks like Stone Cold, just stare you down and get the hell out of his way.
That was one of the problems, is they said the face didn't look like the artwork from the past of him. So
have they seen the Lotara model? Because I don't think GW knows how to match faces to artwork.
Yeah, I'm in total 100% agreement. I'm just saying that's what I've seen.
Hey, I think the guy looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
he gives me a murder boner. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. No helmet, but that's easy fix.
Yep. The next day we had the Warhammer Relics announcement. So this is a whole bunch of marketing stuff or of merchandise from other companies coming out. First among the announcements was the Joy Toy Scale Angron. 40 centimeters tall, 60 centimeters wide.
What's that in
what's that in American units?
American units, it's like
fucking
$300. That's what it is.
Yeah. They're also coming out with Paint Your Own Space Marine 2 Space Marines. So there's a couple different ones. Intercessors based on all the different weapons you can get from the Space Marine 2 video game, as well as Dominion Zephon is coming out in Joy Toy Scale with all of his weapons.
I want to go back to the Joy Toy Angron. Is he the same size as Kabanda?
Bigger.
He's bigger.
Yeah. Would he be equivalent to like some of the old Forge World? Or is he even bigger than that? Okay.
He's bigger than that. Warhammer merch put him up for pre-order at $389.
Oh my god, that hurts.
I think that's
still cheaper like I've said before. Yeah. Like I've said before, though, if you guys want it cheaper, Amazon carries them, USA Gundam carries them, and they always do pre-orders cheaper. The only problem with USA Gundam is they usually get them about 3 to 6 months later than everything. I'm still waiting on some of the Sons of Horus releases I pre-ordered.
I think it's because they ship them by pallet or like cargo container.
Yeah, they ship them first to Warhammer merch, and then everybody else gets it, and then everything else.
How much is he?
$389, I believe.
389 from DW.
Oh well, Cabanda's cheaper. He's $365. So
There you go.
So score one for Fourth World, or whatever it's called now.
We also got announcements of a couple new DK books. There's a video game art book that looks pretty good. It goes all the way back to Dawn of War. So that'll be nice to have some of the art that came out with that. And then a character encyclopedia that looks like it covers all the way up to the Lion and some of the new Eldar releases. Then Tommy Toys is coming out with a whole bunch of plushies. There's a little Necron Scarab plushie.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Dwarf Slayer plushie.
The
purple
grenade, and the pickle grenade.
Yeah. A Blood Bowl ball.
Yep.
Cubicle 7 RPGs is coming out with Horus Heresy and the Old World role-playing games.
Yep, that's the one that that really got my attention.
I've always bought every role-playing game that GW releases in hopes that eventually one day I'm going to play them. And I never do. In fact, I have the collector's editions of Death Watch and Rogue Trader with my names inscribed in them. But I don't know. I might buy some of these books just for fluff reasons and things like that, but I don't think I'll ever play it because I never have played the other ones.
Well, John, I'll tell you something funny. I was talking about this with a couple other people lately,
Mm-hmm.
and this was before the actual announcement. And one guy wanted to run a Horus Heresy-based Death Watch or whatever it is with the Space Marines game via Discord. And you know, if they're going to do this and have these rules come out, I might be able to convince him to run that via our Discord on a regular evening as a regular thing for people to pop in and out of. I don't know quite yet what his plans are, but I think that would be certainly something neat. And I know it's something that he's interested in. So
yeah, okay. Keep me informed.
I will do that.
How murder hobo friendly is it?
Don't know. Don't know. Yeah, number one, the rules aren't out yet, so we don't know how murder hobo friendly it is. But the blurb
or how
on
combined they'll let you even be. So there's a lot of questions still in the air.
Yeah, the blurb for the book says that it's set right after Ishvan. So
right after, yeah.
So who knows? And that you are survivors of that somehow who have gotten away from the massacre and are determined to strike back against the War Master. I mean, doesn't fit me personally, but I'm sure there's other players out there who are interested in being a loyalist.
All right, we still got like 13 things to cover just for this section. So,
oh wow,
yeah, there's a lot of crap that came out this week. Birchoid came out with Warhammer Space Marine jerseys. These kind of look like football jerseys. We've got Ultramarines with Calgar on the back, Dark Angels with Azrael on the back, Blood Angels with Dante on the back, Space Wolves with Grimnar, and White Scars with Kosaru on the back. And each one of these has the instead of the player number, it has the Legion number. It's nice to see White Scars getting treatment in clothing for once. But all these look pretty cool. I went ahead and ordered that one as well as the Hawaiian shirts. So they came out with a 40K and Age of Sigmar Hawaiian shirt as well.
I think
perfect for your igloo choices.
When I looked, the Hawaiian shirts were like just about all sold out.
Yeah, they went fast, which is why I went ahead and ordered it, because the fat sizes always sold out pretty quickly too. Wicked Brick is coming out with a bunch of different display bases. So before they had just kind of like a squad-based one. Now they're coming out with a monster one, a medium character-sized one, basic infantry-sized, as well as specific themed ones for Age of Sigmar, Ultramarines, Kill Team, Warcry, and then they have like they're calling this it's like a single character contraption where you can put your one character in a little super tight mobile with magnetized sides on it. Display announced a whole bunch of more old world stuff coming out, so there's a bunch more Empire prints that are coming, and then they also announced another limited edition Warhammer art piece. So the disc plates themselves are usually about $30 to $60, depending on what you want, and then for basic print, and then they go up to $100 if you add the texture stuff. The limited edition texture stuff is always at least $150 for a normal sized picture. They came out with the old John Blanche Emperor artwork when it came out, and I was like, man, that seems kind of expensive, and it sold out immediately. So something tells me this one with Galmaraz over the Empire map will probably do the same thing. And there's this new company called Foam Brain Games is coming out with a set of collectible enamel pens. They say it's going to cover Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Blood Bowl, and 40K with different varying rarities, which means it's probably going to be blind packaged.
Yeah.
U2's Youtooz is a kind of like Funko Pops, but they're even more cartoony. They've been coming out with a bunch of YouTube personalities, and then they started moving into movie licenses. Now they've got a 40K license. They show some silhouettes of what looks like a Dark Angel, a Ultramarine, and a Tyranid Warrior. And that is all of the things coming from the Relics announcements. Next, we had the announcements of the Warhammer Open 2025. So this is going on in Dallas on the 22nd through the 25th of May, 2025. Canadian Open is going to be in Edmonton on the 13th through the 15th of June. Tacoma, Washington, 17th through the 20th of July. And Atlanta, Georgia, the 6th through the 9th of November. I already bought my single ticket for Dallas. I say single ticket because the way they broke this event up is Friday only is the doubles. It is $110 for a team ticket for one event. There is no get in the door ticket though, so I will say that it's a little different than like Adepticon. And then the ticket for Saturday and Sunday is the singles event, and those are broken up by type. And there's only 15 tickets for loyalists and 15 tickets for traders. So those are going to sell out pretty quick. I know I bought my ticket, and then most of the other Lone Star guys bought theirs. That are planning on going. They sold out pretty quick, or sold pretty quick, and I don't know what the numbers were, but we think they were at least below 10 on loyalists. The other thing is, as you're checking out, you get the ability to add in other things. Remember, this year's miniatures for these events are there's a Skaven on a rock, and then there's a Gene Stealer cultist pointing with a stick of dynamite. They had this special plan where you could pay, I think it was like $150. You get both of those models. You get some special dice, you get some other special stuff in a fancy cardboard box all together. But anyway, I'll let everyone know when we get more information about that. We don't even know what the points values are going to be or anything like that. It's just buy tickets now. We'll tell you what it does later. So a little weird on that one. But that's the four events that are coming up for that. I don't even know if the other events are going to have Heresy. We just know that Dallas happened to have Heresy.
Do you know where?
And then on, go ahead.
Did they say what the location was in Dallas?
There's a brand new esports venue that they just built next to the old Texas Ranger Stadium in Arlington.
Okay.
So that's where they're putting it. And then the other thing we got was today they announced a brand new kill team expansion called Blood and Zeal. This is going to have some Khornate cultists with metal legs versus a whole bunch of Imperial agents fighting underneath the giant Sisters of Battle Celestine statue that came out a long time ago for the city fight buildings. These are all new sculpted models. The Imperial agents look like they're going to make really cool stuff for militia. There's a whole bunch of new models in here that are going to be really cool. Everyone's kind of disparaging the Death Cult Assassin. Looks pretty Assassin's Creed and not very like every other Death Cult Assassin we've ever seen from GW. And then the Reliquant looks like they poured 12 pounds of face into 3 pounds of sack. He looks freakish in the face sculpt, but that's GW as usual. And there's a really cool Confessor model that strikes back to the old 80s Arch Confessor. And then for Sunday's pre-orders, we got a whole bunch of Goblin stuff coming out, but nothing really Heresy related on that front. But that is officially, oh no, it's not. I forgot that I forwarded y'all a whole bunch of news during the week. So Starforge hasn't been updating their new page. What they're doing is they're releasing a whole bunch of new stuff and just kind of burying it in the releases. So both the Blood Angels and Dark Angels got brand new sculpted relief purity seals to come out. I think when I saw them, they were $30 to $40. These are really cool looking. They've got a bunch of, like the Blood Angels one's got a couple of cherubs holding the cup and kind of pouring out a blood drop. And then the Blood Angel or the Dark Angels one is the hooded angel. And then they've also come out with kind of the more generic purity seals that they're known for, but in different marine chapters. So they've got one for the Minotaurs, and they've got a couple of new ones that are just generic Aquila and some other stuff related. But anyway, if y'all are looking for Starforge stuff and you keep checking the new tab like I do every couple days, and you're wondering, man, they haven't released anything in like 3 months. Well, it turns out they've just been hiding it in all the other screens. But definitely some stuff to look for there if you want to add some cool things to your bags. That is officially everything that I have seen come out this week.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
I don't believe you.
Did we ever talk about the news that they're saying that Tom Cruise has joined the Henry Cavill 40K?
I never saw that officiated by anyone other than a couple of gamer sites.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. I've not heard it actually come out as actual news, just potential rumor.
I've never heard it, so. All right.
Well,
so what is our meat and potatoes main topic for tonight?
Well, Brian came up with tonight. So, Brian?
Don't everybody look at me.
Too late.
No, I'm just kidding. No, just I had an idea about what are your favorite conversion bits that are commonly available that you like to add in to spruce up your armies.
And by that you mean like regular GW bits, not like third-party bits or anything like that, right?
I'm okay with third-party bits.
Well, can I speak for Jack? Can I go ahead and speak for Jack and me?
Oh God.
So, like Jack and me, pretty much, it's like, how bored are we, and like, is it for free or available on Cults 3D? And like, then we go Bert. So, whatever we need.
Actually, it's not so much Bert. It's more of a.
Yeah, and it also depends on how well you've lived your fit, because you sometimes get that noise. But anyways, no, literally, like it's gotten to the point where if I need a specific part for an army, like I need a certain type of pistol, and I have it, but I don't have it for the right hand, it'll be like the opposite hand. I literally will go get an STL for it and reverse it or mirror image it and just print that one piece. That's pretty much what I do at this point if I need something and I don't have it.
Okay. To be fair, for the spirit of what Brian's asking for, back in the old days, and when the sky was still dark and it still rained sideways, and
it still does that,
and nobody was ever happy. For 30K stuff, what are those new Marines called? Primaris Marines. There you go. The Stern Guard kits were always good. The Vanguard veterans kits were always good for different tidbits to get. As far as like any this default model, some of the non-Legion Praetors and all those type of HU models are really good for like one-off bits. I think the Mark IV and the Mark V Legion Praetor / whatever they're hanging out with Herald, those are really good for for some bits.
The command squad
Yeah,
packs with
yeah.
the 2 characters.
Mhm.
The command squad close combat pack that's out now. That the most recent one's good. It's actually a really good pack. It's got a ton of parts in it. Then
I like those, but I also really like the new vehicle expansion sprue. It's got the guys coming out of the hatch with the little Palm Pilots and stuff.
It
Those are
like
pretty handy for making your own
HQ guy.
What is it, the guy that can, the Vox guy, and making your own other stuff like that. And then I also steal parts from the other guys coming out of hatches. So there was that old pack of 3 guys coming out of the hatch. Where, like, one of them was leaning over, one of them was shooting a stormbolter, one of them was just kind of up there. And that guy leaning over with his arm on the wall, I've used that one a lot on different conversions for trying to make characters just look kind of like at ease, like they don't care what's going on.
So that vehicle commander sprue that you're talking about, or
Yeah.
just the vehicle top sprue, accessory sprue, that sprue is actually awesome, not just for dudes, but for vehicles too. Because like you get one of them with almost every vehicle you get, and you basically at the max are using maybe a sixth of that sprue. There's probably enough hatches on to do 3 or 4 vehicles easily. And then commanders. So I mean, there is a ton of parts left over on those. The same thing with the old, and I'm saying old, but the original plastic Mark IVs and the version 1 Mark IIIs. You had those HQs that were on those sprues with the regular squad, and there's just usually just tons of bits left over from building out a squad. You'll have tons of
I
options.
liked those helmet crests better too back then. They didn't have that little thing that stuck up. You just glued it straight onto the helmet.
Yep.
That worked a lot better. That way you could change who had the helmet crest easier.
There's a lot of pistol options on both those Mark III and Mark IV plastic sprues. There's also special weapons. So, like, if you're like me with as many of those you've gone through building Toys for Tots armies, I mean, like, I can easily equip squads of plasma, melta, flamer, and missile launcher and heavy bolter. You know, like full-on 10-man squads of that stuff. And people have them left over, and they're, a lot of them want to trade that stuff, especially the Mark IIIs because of the new Mark III plastics that are out. So you can swap that stuff out. And then also with the new Mark III and Mark VI, you've got that accessory sprue that comes with the, I guess it's 1 per box. So you get you get 20 of the Marines, and you get 1 of the accessory sprues with it. And then, like, if you get the HQ or the assault box, you'll get another one of those each of that accessory sprue. And that's got a lot of, like, backpacks and comms and special helmets and, like flim-flams for the commanders and packs and holsters and that kind of stuff. Same thing, like, just a lot of people don't do it because it takes so much extra time, but like I love putting the little holsters and packs and everything on my guys. Same thing with swords or combat knives.
Yeah, so the other thing I do is, it's a weird bit. So the Van Sar sprue for Necromunda, the Van Sar boxes come with this big energy shield sprue. It's a clear blue plastic. In the middle of that is an unmarked bit. Even GW didn't know what it was. They just made a bit because they had extra space. And I use that for all of my Phosphax grenades. And I just don't paint the grenade itself, so that way it's kind of blue looking and weird. And I put that on all my destroyer sergeants that are going to have Phosphax grenades, as well as any character that can take them.
If you're into robed Dark Angels, the old Dark Angel, what was that, like, Command Squad sprue from 5th edition? They're usually still available, but that sprue it's good because it's got robe guys on it, but it's also just got like tons of like generic and Dark Angel-y bits that, like just sigils and Ravenwing sigils and Deathwing sigils.
And that Raven Wing sprue has all the gubbins that go on the back of bikes, and those would go really well on different things as well.
Yep.
The spacer that's on there for gluing onto the bike exhaust is also the size of the last vent on the bottom of the backpacks for the new sculpted Marines. So I've been using that to add extra crap on the characters.
If you can get a hold of some of the chapter Pacific upgrade packs that GW do, those generally have most of it cross compatible with 30K.
Yeah, especially with the new larger Mark 3 and 4s, or the 3 and 5s. You got the
They're a lot
6.
closer to the
Come on,
10.
Brain. The Primera stuff works a little better with the arms there. They don't look as weird.
So one thing I always did, when I was doing my Iron Warriors, I redid every single unit to have special close combat weapons because we didn't in the previous edition have to have just chain swords. So what I did was I went and got a couple of the Warriors of Chaos or Chaos Warriors box for Fantasy Sigmar at this time, and they have a lot of really neat looking swords, hammers, axes, halberds, and they've got some really unique looking bodies as well that you can sit there and you can do with minimal conversion work. You can use their legs, you can use cloaks off of them on guys to make them look pretty badass, to make them look unique compared to other Marines out there. And doing that was something I always liked. You can also use their shields to do darker, like chaosified breachers, I think, look really well with those shields because they're still large, they're still appropriately sized for Space Marines, and that's one thing I like doing as well. I've also used for some of my my World Eaters, I've used weapons off of the Chaos Chosen for some of the guys' special weapons. I've also used some of the chain axes and whatnot. Well, not chain axes, but regular axes off of the Blood Warriors because they look pretty damn neat. And some of their armor looks really cool as well. And what is it? Oh, the back when I was doing 40K, and it kind of sort of works, although the size looks a little wonky these days. I did Imperial Guard, and all my Imperial Guardsmen were converted from the Bretonnian men-at-arms using just their bodies and the World War I looking helmet, the Super Terrain looking helmets on them. I used those, and then I just used Cadian arms. Although the Cadian arms now are definitely a little bit bigger than you would actually need for these bodies, so you'd have to find some of the older Cadians. But those definitely look really, really good for just militia, because they look nothing like a regular line unit, and they look unique. So that's something that's always a neat idea to do, is convert in armies and things like that in units so they actually look different than something else you would normally see on the tabletop.
So for vehicle flim-flams?
No. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Yes. No. Do you want me to do?
Go ahead. I wasn't talking vehicles. I was just talking on dudes.
I know. I'm saying for vehicle flim-flam parts, for a long time, I'll have to look. The Rhino and the Razorback were the same price, like the 2-box kits. And so a lot of people would buy the Razorback kit instead of the Rhino kit because you're getting like a whole extra sprue or two of it, and it still makes a Rhino. So anyways, there's a lot of the Razorback sprue, is what everybody calls it, floating around. They're like, okay, well, what does it have to do with the Hill of Beans and 30K? So on the Razorback sprue, there's a different style dozer blade that's kind of more 30K-ish looking, and there's also stores, boxes, and ammo cans for vehicles, and tow loops like cable. Yeah, so those are on that sprue. There's a lot of those sprues around. I have stacks of them here and I take those off just to add on like little fluff, more stuff onto the tanks and stuff.
They're still the same price.
Still the same price.
When did a Rhino become $60?
Yeah, I know. I think the Heresy Rhinos are actually cheaper than the GW, the 40K Rhinos too. or at least they were originally. The new plastic Heresy rhinos were cheaper than the 40K rhinos. Another one. This one's a little bit harder to find, or maybe a little bit more expensive. But the IG tank accessory sprue has a lot of that kind of stuff too, like stores and bits. They also have like big dozer blades available on that sprue if you want like a more like bulldozer style prow instead of a cattle pusher style dozer blade for your vehicles. The same thing. They'll have stores, boxes, and stores that you can use, and then they also have. I can't remember if there's a cable tow on that one or not, but there's a lot of good parts on that sprue as well for vehicles.
I cannot remember the scale off the top of my head. Maybe John will know off the top of his head, but like World War II tanks, getting like the accessories for those, that works out well too.
35th scale accessories like sandbags and things are best, especially if you're looking at guns. But if you're looking at hatches, it's best for 48 scale. But you can kind of go back and forth either way.
And what was the two scales again?
35th or 48th.
Okay.
And you've also got 32nd when it comes to some planes and things.
Occasionally, you can find a 156th, which is like the actual 28 millimeter, but those are really uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually a lot older.
Trying to think, what else do we got? Well, I mean, there's tons of the old Forge World stuff that you would get.
If you can find some of the old upgrade kits, I know there's people out there that have certain sources, and I'm not going to recommend how you get them or not, but I know they do appear on eBay. But like the old Legion heads, if you can find those, sprinkling them in with the newer Legion heads and whatever you can get for doing those, I love. I absolutely love the old World Eaters bunny ears as compared to the new modern-ish World Eater bunny ear. So I use
the
that.
old Iron Warriors upgrade torsos and heads were great.
Yep, they were.
Yes.
I also really like the I don't know, something about the idea of the Mohawk crests has always been something that I've liked putting onto characters. I like the short crest for like sergeants, and the old War Leader head set came with that. And they're on a serum helm, but they don't have the bunny ear. They have just a short mohawk going back. And then the new Praetor box has a phenomenal head crest that is a mohawk style. I use that a lot. You can find a lot of the crest style in the various 40K or not 40K but 30K boxes. That's the one that goes across the center. Yeah, the one that looks like a broom, not the one that looks like a mohawk. I've been shaving those off and then trimming them down on the base, and then heating them with whatever you can to make them slightly wider, so you can sit there and turn those into mohawks. Because I think that doing that just gives kind of a bit more of a barbaric look to things for some of the Chaosified Legions, as opposed to the martial Romanesque look for the Ultramarines ones. So I really like that, and that's something that's just a really simple, really quick, easy conversion to do, and I think it looks great.
I like the across crest for all my sergeants and the following the helmet line for the other characters.
No, I'm not surprised that you like that, John.
And remember, eBay's your friend with this, especially if you're looking for older bits that you can no longer find. Don't be afraid to buy people getting out of the game, buying their stuff.
Yeah, and you can always, if you've got certain other bits that you're looking for, don't be afraid to post in our Discord. A lot of us have a bunch of extra bits. I know one of the guys was a couple weeks ago on the hobby hangout was wanting to build characters that were closer to the Space Marine 2 or the secret level Space Marines for their Legion. They wanted the little backpack Iron Halo. And none of the new stuff really comes with that. And he was like, I don't know where to get that. And I was like, oh, you send me your address. I'll send you a couple because I've got a drawer of them. So I sent him 3 different ones and he hooked them up. So don't be afraid to reach out to your hobby buddies and stuff like that. There's also a bunch of different bits resellers out there. Make sure you know who you're getting in touch with because if you do matter whether or not if it's a recaster, but recasting bits a lot rarer out there. It's not as easy to find.
Facebook training
ahead.
groups, they're really good for getting interesting tidbits. Just joining some of those for Heresy or for 40K and just looking and browsing through some of the listings of what people have, you're going to see a lot of interesting things on there. Some of it old, some of it very old, some of it not so old. But you're going to see things on there that you might not have thought you would ever see, like the second edition Power Fists that look ridiculous. Or one thing that I personally have used a couple times is people who had the old Epic 40K Knights. Those things had a couple of those. I think it was a Knight Castellan had a 3-fingered Power Fist that looked really, really interesting for the Knight, but it scaled perfectly for a 40K. It just looks like a mechanical arm that's been, or a replacement arm with a Power Fist, and I've used that on a couple of guys, and it looks cool. It
I
looks
went the other
unique.
way. I took the guard Power Fist and used it as a Power Fist for the Titanicus Knights.
See, doing things like that makes perfect sense. It's just interesting ways to try to personalize the hobby, and however you want to do it works. I'm not gonna espouse any third party bits right here because I'm just trying to stick with just pure GW stuff. But if you look at a whole bunch of the stuff from the various ranges, I know there's stuff for the for Age of Sigmar for the High Elves or whatever they're called. They have a lot of really neat kind of wispy swords, wispy halberdish looking things, spears looking things. Some of those I think would look absolutely perfect on something like Emperor's Children. Um, doing on the Phoenix Power Spears, things like that, and it would look unique. It would look cool.
There was some weird game. So don't be afraid to look outside of GW because there was this weird game that we all got the promo model for in plastic. I want to say like 6 or 7 Adepticons ago, where this guy was summoning a smoke dragon out of a jar that was on his hip. But the bit was the right hand and smoke dragon were a separate part. And I've kept that bit for when I want to build the guy that can do the demon blessings and things like that.
Esoterist.
Yeah.
Diabolist, Esoterist. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to be my Esoterist part.
That actually makes a lot of sense because it was kind of a neat bit.
Yeah, but don't be afraid to steal from other companies. As long as you're not going to play at a GW store or play in GW events, take bits from everywhere.
One thing that I think was really awesome was years ago, Adepticon did their own special miniature that they gave away when you registered for Adepticon. This was not at the Schaumburg, but the hotel before that.
Oh yeah, they had that weird mechanical.
Yeah, the Adepticonstruct.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got like 3 of those.
Weston.
The what?
I think it was at the Weston.
Yeah, it was at the Weston.
It was metal too, like cast.
Yep, they did the Adepticonstruct, and that thing was neat. I ended up getting 4 or 5 of them, and I used them to make Chaos Spawns for mechanical run with my my Iron Warriors because they were just neat.
Fun story about those. If you got one of those, I touched every one of them because they literally got huge bags of the parts cast, and they were like all of one thing and then all of another. You had to individually piece each one of them together and then bag it and then put them in a bag for somebody. So, yeah,
Would not surprise me. Like I said, I loved that thing. It was just fun. It was a neat something that looked absolutely perfect for 40K for Heresy stuff, and for Dark Mech, it would even still look good if you could find some way to make use of it. I know that it doesn't really fit with some of the 30K aesthetic, but it's a neat thing. It's got some neat bits to it.
But back then, it was the bee's knees. Like,
Oh yeah,
everybody wanted it for like EdMech or EdMech. So yeah.
yeah. If you're looking for individual characters, I really, when they put out the War Master or Trader Champion model for 30K last year, if you're listening back to when we reviewed that thing, I absolutely love that model. I think that's probably one of the best non Legion specific character models they've done in years.
Which one?
It's the Trader Champion, not the Loyalist Champion, but the Trader Champion.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Man, I
use
don't remember.
it's
on the GW website. Hold on a second.
well, if you
I'm
look
pulling
at
it up.
if it shows
Yeah,
here,
he's a thick boy.
it's this guy.
Yep.
With a different head, obviously. But he's got a cloak. He's got a little codpiece thing. I've done mine up to where he will be my new Sons of Horus Praetor when I get around to putting him together and getting him painted.
The sword and either like an Archaeotech pistol
Yes,
or
that's the
maybe
guy.
Voltec.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I stripped off the sword and the Archaeotech pistol, and I've given mine for the Sons of Horus. I've got him a mace that I got from Conversion World a while back. I'm not going to lie. That looks very similar to Worldbreaker for the Sons of Horus, or from Horus himself. And I've got him with a kind of brutal looking Thunder Hammer as well, so I can throw him in for the Sons of Horus for my new Praetor when I don't feel like rocking around with the one that I converted before off of the generic Praetor body for the Sons of Horus, just because I like this body way too much. I gave one to Jack for something a while back. I've got one that's converted for my World Eaters. I converted one for the Blood Angels, and I've got, I think, 2 or 3 more for whatever other conversions that I want to do, because I plan to use that body for whatever else conversion character-wise I want to build, because, like I said, I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
He's going to be blue, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Just remember to shave off the little Chaos Stars and the Sons of Horus eye on his left wrist. But
didn't he have things like little flame thingies on his kneecaps too, or something? If I remember correctly.
Maybe. Nope. Kneecaps are clear.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of a different model.
He's the
Maybe.
some brass
The
etching.
guy that had like the Sigmar swooshes or whatever.
Doing little head swaps on things like that, or weapon swaps.
I will say though, on a lot of the, let's say the Heresy character models from the past, 2 years, you got to be a little careful because they go together in non-traditional like Heresy dudesmen ways. Like their legs and their groin and their upper torsos aren't like the normal.
Yeah, they're not traditional piecemeal it together. They're kind of push fit.
A lot of them only go together literally like one way, so you have to be a little careful when what you're doing with them, especially with the way some of the heads mount. It's really weird that a lot of them, if you've never seen it, the legs will go together and then there's a piece that goes up the middle of the torso and the head mounts. It's like part of that middle piece in the middle of the torso. And then you put the armor around the head.
Yep.
So
it's almost like you got to put it together to take it apart.
Yep.
Yeah, you almost have to.
So I'm not trying to dissuade anybody, but before you go out and spend a whole bunch of money on parts, you're like, oh, I like this part off of this guy, and I like this part off of this guy. I'm gonna kit bash them together. Just be aware. A lot of the newer HQ models from like, let's say 2.0 onward, they don't all go together like the traditional ways anymore. So just be careful.
I bought an Age of Sigmar model to steal the head because I forget what it was. It was one of the Sigmarines, but he looked like Tommy Wiseau. and I thought it'd be funny to use it as a conversion. And the face, the literal face, was a part, and then the entire rest of the head and all of his hair was another part that was attached to his shoulder pad.
Yeah, they've been
Completely
slicing
useless.
them weird. They've been
Yeah.
slicing them weird.
Well, it's
The new Lamarty's is
specifically to
nice for
combat.
stealing parts from. I bought him and cut all the bloody drip crap off, and he's going to be a new chaplain.
They do it to specifically combat recasting and all that jazz.
I'm sure. I have no doubt about it.
I'm
but-
sure of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and third-party shoulder pad makers and other stuff.
Not that it works, I don't think, but
It doesn't, but I mean, just be careful. I mean, if you want a part, you can definitely cut it off with, a good pair of I wouldn't use nippers, but like a razor saw or something like that in their correct spots, and then put it on where you need to. But just be aware that it may be a little bit more complicated than what, simply just building like a normal Sergeant or HQ out of the plastic boxes now.
there might be some breakage involved in other parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't use nippers to do that. Use like a saw to cut.
Jeweler saw.
Yeah, like a jeweler saw, because it won't deform the plastic or the resin as much.
Yep. One thing I think we can all agree on is that part of the fun for everything heresy-wise is making your guys be your guys.
Yeah.
And doing that is going to take a little bit extra hobby effort, which is something we fully endorse. So don't be afraid to sit there and cut apart pieces and bits to whatever to make the perfect kit batch that you yourself want to make. Heresy is an expert level game per GW stuff. The kits are expert level. So if you're here and doing this, you probably already know most of this stuff for how to do it. Just if you don't and you're new to it, go slow, go careful, ask questions. And if you need help, just talk to people. There's lots of us out there that do this stuff. And you should see the piles of bits and shame that we ourselves have everywhere.
Oh man.
I mean,
Yeah,
when you get a
I
kit
have
that's
all my stuff hyper organized for all the conversions that I ever want. All the different handedness of weapons and all the different types of weapons are specifically organized just because I know when I'm in the mood to do a conversion, I need to get the juices flowing as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's one thing. And that's something that's kind of nice is that a lot of the heresy boxes come with extra bits you're not going to find yourself using. And you're going to clip them off the sprue and pitch the sprue and put the bits in a pile, or in, as John's case, strict organization and regimentation, as Rowboat would be proud. So,
Hey, I did it. I did the John. I've got it on all my Mark 3s and Mark 4 stuff. It's all sorted out in the little tray bins and stuff like that.
my stuff is sorted by Legion specificity.
Yeah, I've got all the different helmet types organized into each individual drawer, and I had to take them out of the drawers because I had too many. So now they're in little Plano tubs, and each one of the Plano tubs has its own little hole for specific job type. Because some of the helmets are a little bit bigger for the ones that are going to be the Vox guys, and then the chaplains have their own helmet type, and then sergeants have their own helmet type, and then the Forge World Special Ultramarine helmets have their own helmet type because I was using the ones that have the scribed lines that come in the Ultramarine set for the characters and some other units that I didn't want to put crests on. I wanted to just paint the line. So different things have different uses.
I've done that because when I print parts out, I'll do like a massive right hand and a massive left hand, and then I'll separate them out just so like if I need bolt right-handed bolt pistols, I know where to go for.
I wish I had thought about doing that years ago. I
Conversion
didn't. I just
World did
started
that
throwing
for a
into
while.
tubs.
They used to sell hands.
Yeah.
That you could heat up and bend to shape for whatever you needed.
Yep, I remember those. I've actually used those on the Praetors with this Praetor over here, the Sons of Horus Future Praetor, to wrap a Conversion World hand around that Conversion World mace. So yeah.
Yep.
those things were a really nice bit. I kind of wish GW would go back to the whole we support anybody doing whatever you can with our bits to make your army unique. But it seems that that's kind of something that they're kind of shying away from these days, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
I think that the problem with that is that they've got to be super strict for legal reasons, because if they're not, then they're going to have someone that's going to take advantage of it. I hate to say that I'm not agreeing with it, but I understand it.
No, I get it. But that was one of the big complaints that I had about War Machine, was that you couldn't
Yep.
convert anything. It was all, this has to look this way, it has to be done this way. And I think that in part was why I liked some of their aesthetic. I never really got into their stuff because it just wasn't something I wanted to tinker, if that makes any sense. You couldn't tinker with anything. So
Yep.
I always thought they did a really bad job with their community, but their game was interesting and had fantastic lore.
There were parts of it that were pretty good. There were parts of it that were kind of funny. Like the sniper unit, that to become part of the sniper unit, you have to go kill a head of state. But because everyone in the whole game was using that sniper unit, there would be no complete governments for more than 5 minutes in the entire game world.
that sounds about right. Anybody else got anything to bring up on this topic tonight?
Don't be constrained by your, what's available. I mean, anything you can imagine, you can pretty much find, or if you have questions about what or how to get it or where to get it, there's tons of places that you can look that out, like different.
And don't be afraid to ask even the most basic questions. Like, Mike came on this week and was like, which way do you guys think I should put the decals on the breast scorpion, which he finished and looks freaking amazing. But like, he was just looking for input on that. Like, you can come ask. There are no stupid questions, as we all say.
There are stupid answers, but
yeah, there can be stupid answers, but we can dumb it down as much as we need to. But the basic kind of understanding is, if you were just like, hey, I have an idea for a character, he needs to be carrying an X, I'm thinking about posting him Y, what do you guys think? I went out and bought
we probably
had
can
a
help
coupon
all the parts.
for Sideshow toys back in the day, and I got just one of them artist armature figures that I can just pose in different poses to make sure I'm not making something that looks totally insane for some of my weirder character poses. So, it's not that odd to just ask people for weird things.
Okay, on that note, I have a weird thing about building dreadnoughts.
Oh god.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
After doing a number of them, I've kind of figured out that unless you're building like a Deradeo, never have both feet on the ground because they'll look fucking dumb.
Yep. I've got one that's kicking a door in. I've got one that's running full bore. I got one that's doing a sneaky pose.
I have one with both of them. Like it's not necessarily both. They're both on the ground, but it's kind of like bracing, like it's shooting, like it's got both arms out, like it's kind of bracing for recoil or whatever. But yeah, I get you.
So one of the things I've done where I use the Ulrich bases, and those are textured and have raised spots and lowered spots, I'll put like 1 foot, like it's stepping on something and coming off of something else. So it actually looks like it's dynamic when it's not actually dynamic and it's actually set on both feet.
Well, that's the only reason why my Leviathan looks good, is I built up the base with a whole bunch of that like crushed plaster that you can get from Gale Force 9. So he's stepping up on this massive mound of crushed concrete with one leg, and he's kind of sweeping that way with his torso and head. And then the magnetized arms are just kind of positioned that they work well no matter which one you throw on.
That's a good point. Conversion work doesn't just have to be on tanks and doesn't just have to be on dudes. I think one of the best conversions I've seen was with the Deredeo, where they put Sentinel legs in there, and it just kind of gave it a much different appearance, stride wise, and I just
Yep.
fell in love with it when I saw it. That
Thinking about that, that would actually kind of almost be like a like a Mad Cat or a
it
maybe
does. I will
or,
admit,
or a Vulture maybe from MechWarrior.
I will fully admit it does kind of look like a weird blend between those.
Like one of those.
So it was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah.
And it's a great example of using something to make something else look even more imposing or different.
Yeah. It definitely would make it more probably more have a lot like it's more mobile than the normal legs for sure.
Yeah, the normal Deredeo, he really feels kind of rigid if you look at him. But when they did that, it made it look more like he could actually pose and move around and
Yeah,
be more.
my first Deredeo was got his weapons pointed nearly like a 75 or an 80-degree angle, like it was nearly straight up, so he could shoot planes down. Found out that I couldn't use the stock ammo feed, so I had to order some from Zinj Industries before I found the Bindi ammo that I use now. But sometimes when you're converting, you end up going places you never thought you would. The first night I bought, I wanted to have his foot up squashing an orc dreadnought because I played a bunch of orcs. And so I ended up having to do a bunch of cutting on that, and then a bunch of cutting on the other leg, and then had to rewire everything with guitar wire and stuff like that. So sometimes you're going to go down roads you didn't think you were going to have to.
Yep, it's definitely a thing.
That's one thing about the Deredeo I find really weird is that if you look at the arm joints, there is like 3 weird points of articulation in the arms, and not a single one of them actually matters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of an oddball thing. Some of the design choices don't make a lot of sense, but look aesthetically pleasing if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I do like that they've been making those pins where if you don't want it posed, just glue it this way and be done with it.
Yeah. Like a default.
Yep.
Yeah, I can dig it.
It makes it a little easier for some of the models to get them together if you're just trying to knock it out quick. So
Especially on those Tau battlesuit models, you know what I mean?
no, I don't. But
No, I don't have a clue what you mean by that.
It's been a long time since I went down that road.
I never went down the fish guys route at all, so
I
I'm
can't
good.
bemoan them that much because that's how I got into the hobby. But yeah, it's been a while.
The other thing to think about when you're doing all these cool poses is how are you going to transport it?
Yep.
That's
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing I've run into a lot with the knights is they don't fit in any fancy trays. All of my land speeder javelins are on larger bases, so they don't really fit into a lot of the battle foam that's designed for javelins. So I had to magnetize them, and then found out that the trays that I normally use for infantry don't work for them because I made them hover a little higher than normal. So I ended up having to make their own trays specifically for them. So definitely something to think about is if you're going to start doing really cool poses, maybe make it come apart in certain places if you have a dreadnought that's doing a jump kick or something like that.
Yeah.
And this is the part where Jack probably pulls up the sphere character he has.
No, I just got a pineapple juice.
Oh. So Jack has this one model that is a Praetor or something with a power spear of some kind.
He's magnetized.
How many different magnets did you put in one power armor model? That's the important question here.
Waist, backpack, arm 1, arm 2, arm 3.
Yeah,
So-
my Lancer Lord is going to have to be like that because his lance is almost 2 knights tall, and then the knight banner that I'm planning to match my AT build is going to be nearly that bad too.
So I have a Night Lord HQ that's got head, both arms, and then there's like multiple weapons that are magnetized for each arms. Like one of them could switch over to Thunderhammer and shield, or like pistol and whatever, or bolt or whatever, and then backpack, normal backpack, and jump pack, and then waist. Because I had different style legs. Like one of them's moving and then the other one's more static. And that was like so that I could fit it in a tray that I had to take everything in one tray for DM.
So the reason I bring up Jack's Praetor guy is because the very first time I ever saw it, Jack was like, "Hey, look at how I did on this. It looks so good. I'm really proud of this." And then he put it on the table and he told me to pick it up and take a look at it. And I did. And that son of a bitch fell apart in my hands. And I was like, oh, God, what have I done? And Jack had that laugh for like the uncontrollable Jack laugh for about 5 minutes. As I was, I think, the first person he got with that joke.
You were.
Yeah. And I've seen him pull that joke now on so many people by going, yeah, just pick it up, take a look. And they do, like they'll pick it up by the tip of the spear, and then everything falls apart. And I'm like, yeah, he's an asshole. He got another person. He's an asshole, and he got another one.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. You know why I don't run any Vexillas in my Death Guard?
Don't want them breaking off in transport.
Exactly. I don't want to fucking transport any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a fair statement.
Not the Vexellas, but the what are the Voxes, like the antennas.
Yep.
When I'm building them, I intentionally take them off, like cut them off, so that it's like a nub that sticks up, and that's entirely 100% because of transport. I don't want them broken in transport and trying to find stuff. So like, yeah, I just don't care. I just cut them off, so it's like a little nub sticking up that's short that barely goes up past the helmet. I know John's got the little acupuncture needles he uses on his, but I just, yeah. Nope.
Well, John's insane, and we know this.
Yes, we do. But
how many times have you
Well,
cut
those are
yourself
better
this week,
because
John?
they spring back into place if they're not stabbing you while you're trying to play the game.
And how many times have you cut yourself this week, John?
Just once.
This week started today.
Oh, I had none then. I'm on 0.
0 days since workplace accident.
Although the one I
Wait.
did this last week was pretty bad. It bent the blade inside of my skin.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Oh my.
Yeah,
God.
it's like he tried to cut his thumb tip off again.
No, it was the side of the.
We're gonna get him those chainmail gloves they give the like deli meat slicer people at restaurants. You know what I'm talking about, right, Jack?
Kevlar woven, yeah.
Yeah, I got the little Kevlar finger condoms. I just need to find them and use them.
Stab yourself with them.
Yeah, he just doesn't wear them.
I don't use condoms either.
Oh, on that note, John.
Yeah, let's just call it here. We're getting into the bit that we're go crazy.
Yeah, we're meandering. Thanks everybody for joining us on this, the 118th episode of Heresy Accountability Buddies. I've been John, and I've been joined by
Ryan,
Duncan,
Jack,
and Jamie.
We appreciate y'all coming along with us tonight. So always remember to stay accountable to yourself, to your buddies, and your hobby. And we'll talk to you next time.
A little postscript for all of our listeners. Mike, Derek, 59 down. We're coming for you. Oh, we're coming for you.
There you go.
Like and subscribe, and see ya.